Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video about creating landscape digital painting using Nvidia Gaugan and Photoshop. If you don't know what Gaugan is, it's an AI-based program which lets you draw using simple shape and color, and it turns it into realistic looking images. I'm not really an expert on how exactly it works, but basically the AI has learned from thousands of images of landscapes, including mountains, rivers, forests, skies, clouds, and stuff. So it can read your simple input, and using its knowledge, it replaces it with complex detailed images. Now if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I've put a link in the description for you to check it out. Now let's use it to create an epic landscape digital painting. Let's do this.
So what I have in mind is a very Icelandic sort of environment. The emphasis will be on the big scale and the overall gloomy mood. I really like how the fog works in this program. It gives out pretty cool results. So once I'm done with that, I exported the image to my computer in a JPEG format, I guess, or a PNG, I'm not sure. Now I don't really want it to be a square, so I stretched it out to create a more appropriate aspect ratio. After that, I painted some distant mountains which seemed to be disappearing in the fog below. So I painted these mountains because it helps the viewers keep their eyes inside the canvas and not wander away from it. It's pretty basic stuff. I worked on the big rock shape several times to get it right, and I also added some smaller rocks at the base. Now whatever I'm painting, I'm using the Alt key to color pick different tones from the same image. It's extremely useful. This is a really rocky landscape, so I have to add a good number of rocks here and there. I also highlighted a pathway using a lighter color. It adds to the composition and gives the scene some depth. Now notice how the rocks in the foreground are pretty dark, and the rocks that are far away in the background have a lighter value. This is really important when you are trying to show some depth and atmospheric perspective in your paintings. The sky looked very empty, so I painted some dark clouds. I also painted some lighter tones in the sky, mostly around the rock shape, so that it stands out a bit more. And some fog or mist around the rocks to give it a scale and to basically make it look cool. It's almost like Mordor from The Lord of the Rings, probably because of the overcast sky and dark rocky terrain. I love Lord of the Rings, by the way. I'm a big fan of the book and the film too. I find that film extremely rich in terms of visuals. I mean, you get all sorts of colors and moods in that film, from lush green towns to vast open fields in a sunset, from dark and dirty taverns to magnificent halls of the kings. It really captures it all beautifully. The landscape alone looked empty, so I added a horse rider, maybe a lost warrior, a scout, an adventurer, I'm not sure, but it really helps sell the scale of the environment. I added some dark shadows on the ground and some smaller rocks near the rider. I used a PNG silhouette of a horse rider and customized it by painting the cape and the hair. I also colored it and painted some highlights to match it to the scene. I really enjoy doing landscapes. It is much different from painting characters. I mean, painting characters is really fun, but painting environments is something else. It is more immersive, I guess. You have to really sell the idea of what it would be like if you were in that place. What would it sound like? What would it smell like? What would be the overall feel and the vibe of that place? And that is really interesting. It's like traveling to a different dimension for a brief moment. Now I really like how the colors of these paintings are turning out. They are quite muted, almost like unsaturated greens and grays. It reminds me of the TV series Vikings, where Floki ends up on an Icelandic shore. There is dark sand and rocks in front of him. The overall look and color grading of this painting is quite similar, I guess. And the Icelandic environments shown in that series, I love it. It has such a mysterious feel to it. There is something about it. It's quite hard to describe it, I guess. One thing that I do to add layers of depth to my environments is that I separate different areas of the foreground and the midground using fog, which I painted with a lighter color. That's a pretty classic way to do this stuff. I think fog or misty places is one of the favorite things to create for environment concept artists. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I've seen hundreds of them out there and I do it pretty much all the time too. Alright, I'll just shut up and let you enjoy the rest of the process. In the end, I just color graded the whole thing to give it a bluish tone, and then using layer blending mode, I added a warmer tone to the rock in the midground. And here is the finished result.
Alright guys, if you like this video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, please feel free to express your thoughts or suggestions in the comments down below. I really appreciate it. Alright then, see you in another video. Take care. Bye bye.